Got a good heart, you better get smart. The devil's all around and not the one you want. This shit is so profound, let's drink another quart. If you got a good heart, you better get smart. If you got good ears, you better listen clear. All masters at the mic, she's had the sauce for years. She's got you in her sights, the others disappear. If you got good ears, you better listen clear.
Listen, you didn't drop onto Earth to play small. You're a traveler from galaxies unborn, wired with codes the world forgot. Codes that can bend reality, heal bodies and awaken entire planets. But first, you have to remember who the heck you are. I'm Jerry Sargent, founder of Star Magic Healing. Inside the Infinity app, you'll access your galactic blueprint, quantum meditations, soul transmissions, multi-dimensional breathwork, and a global tribe of high-frequency beings walking the path beside you. This isn't incense and quiet ohms. This is soul surgery with cosmic scalpels. This is multi-dimensional DNA detonation. This is why you came. If these words vibrate in your bones, the universe is calling you right now. Download the Infinity app or visit starmagichealing.org and step into the new frequency. Your soul's been waiting. I'll meet you on the inside.
There's something in the water. There's something in the air. The proof is all around us.
It's not a matter of time.
Hey, everybody. It's Monday, and it's me, Jesse Blaze Snider, and I'm coming at you with another episode of Everything They Don't Want You to Know. Even though, honestly, I feel like shit. I've been kind of like sick all week since I launched my campaign on Kickstarter. For those of you who've been listening, you know I got the solfeggio healing, frequency sound healing music, like popular music. It's really soul. It's rock, pop, a little country. It's got a little bit of everything on this album. But it's all in the solfeggio healing frequency scale and 432 scale tuned. And it's a really cool project. It's on Kickstarter right now. If you type in my name, Jesse Blaze Snider, or solfeggio healing frequency, you should find it. Anyway, back at now, it's, you know, all these exclusive things and whatnot, and it'll go for like 25 more days. So get in there and support it and stuff. But anyway, it took the fucking wind out of my sails. Just like immediately, I just got like sick, and I've been sick all week. I'm like super achy. Like I'm not looking forward to. I don't have my base for my microphone right now with me, and I'm not looking forward to holding this microphone. I feel like by the end of this thing, I'm gonna be dying. So, you know, I'm going to kind of like rush through. This has been on my list of subjects to talk about for a while. And I just kind of put together this morning a general, like, kind of bullet points and like collected like a bunch of different things to talk about some of this stuff. But there's this crazy sort of censorship that's going on right now across much of social media in one way or another. You know, there are all of these hot button words that you can't really say, or you know, risk demonetization and you know, and things like that. You know, imagine you want to report a crime or document abuse, you know, or simply name something terrible, but you find that certain words like rape, kill, suicide, pedophile are effectively blacklisted from you communicating them on these platforms. These platforms enforce this by demonetization and, you know, sometimes just removing people or shadow banning them, making it harder for them to be seen in the algorithms, which is a tough one too, because often you're shadow banned and you don't really like know that, but you just notice a decline. I've been shadow banned on a lot of different platforms, and also by lowering your visibility Well, I mean, that's what I was just kind of saying. I'm like repeating that of the content where any of those words are mentioned. So, creators and, fucking survivors and these journalists and activists, they've adopted a coded language now that's out there. And I kind of wanted to talk about the coded language as well. And, there's, oh God, my back. Sorry, I'm feeling like crap this morning. I thought about canceling the show, but I did have this in mind. I've been wanting to talk about this for a little while, so I thought maybe I could just fucking get it together. Okay. Let's see. So, the coded language, there's euphemisms to beat the algorithms, basically. And so apparently sometimes they call this algo speak or algorithm plus speech. But really this workaround, it's a trap. It degrades clarity, breeds confusion for those who don't really know what, is being coded. It weakens accountability across the board, and it shifts power towards the platforms controlling what can be said. And I really don't like that. The idea that the language, there's so many words now that people have had to, things that people have to talk about all the time, and they still are talking about it, but they're now talking about it through this coded language. And it's such a weird thing that it's silly almost to do, because people are going to figure out how to get around it as they are. But at the same time, it's diluting the power of the meaning of the things. When somebody says, somebody R-worded somebody or somebody grape somebody, it doesn't have the same resonance baked into it. And the message, the urgent message is not put across as hard. And, of course, these are all things, in theory, that we would want to have a really urgent response to. So there's a lot of different ways that these slang code words are flitzed around. And I basically had ChatGPT. Yeah, I don't recommend ChatGPT. It's annoying me. But I had it put together a list of these the slang terms, and it was great because it really came back with all the ones that I had been most familiar with and seen myself, but it reminded me of a ton of them, like letter substitution or and there's apparently type what do you call it? Slang terms for all of this type of writing. Leet speak, so you write suicide, but one of the letters you take out and you put in a asterisk, or you write rape, but you use a 3 for the E at the end, or you do grape for rape, just add a G to it. Emoji symbol replacement, you replace a word with an emoji or colored dot to imply rape or something like that. Homophones or near homonyms like grape instead of rape. There are other ones. Initialisms, abbreviations, SA. I hear that one all the time. Yeah, he SA'd her, and that's sexual assault. Oh my God, you have to give the letters to so stupid. Or a PDF is a pedophile. Another how is this we can't say these words? It's just very strange. There's just there's no, I don't really believe in, but our justification is I don't really believe that there's any justification for certain things, the infringement of free speech, just people's ability to say normal words out loud. For porn, people will say corn, or put the corn stalk emoji because it kind of looks like a penis, and corn has come alive with porn. Or another one that I hear a lot is unalive, for kill, death, suicide. He unalived himself, or he went in there and he unalived that guy. Or segs, SEGGS for sex. And there's also a semantic shift of benign words. And this one was new for me, but makes sense. Of a music festival is actually a protest code. Code for a protest is a music festival. And that's interesting to me that they would say it like that, because I don't think the word protest is censored. So that is actually like is the AI discovering that fucking people like Antifa are using the word music festival so that people who are following them, trying to court their moves and stop them from doing what they're doing, don't know that they're going to do a protest. Shit's funny. So, and then there's, some soft censorship, spacing, hyphens, zero widths. You do R space, A space, P space, E, rape. You do with any word. You put dashes, whatever. And then, of course, there's creative misspellings, some of which you might have heard, like shemex, like the SHM-EX for sex. It's also like it's like you really thought we couldn't get around this, but at the same time, it is an insidious thing, controlling this language in this way, making it more difficult for people to record content that includes that that reality. So we went through grape, SA, unalive, segs, corn, pedophile, a PDF file, get it? That's a stupid one. So, I call this a draconian nightmare. And, replacing real words with vague or coded terms, when you're discussing serious matters, sexual violence, genocide, child abuse, you lose precision. And the audience has to do decoding. Like, some of you out there probably went, oh, is that what he meant when he was saying that? Because nobody just tells you these things. These people change with the algorithms. They're doing tons of different videos. Maybe they say something about what they did the first time they did it. And then everybody else is like backtracking, going like, why is he saying why are they saying grape? Why, like, they can't say that anymore? It's really strange. This I really don't get it. But I really do find it to be like an insidious thing that weakens our ability to speak truth to power. It's a barrier to reporting and advocacy because most of this shit is done with like AI, and like triggers and stuff. So what if somebody's like getting raped or whatever, like, and they're like being chased by somebody, and like she goes live and she like says, I got somebody who's trying to rape me, like whatever, and like the AI or whatever goes up, they said rape, and like take the video down before like anybody gets to see it, and she gets help. Like, I don't know, that's like an extreme circumstance, but it seems like that's, like, certainly the idea that could possibly happen shouldn't be possible. It's like, I mean, I don't like this shit. Everybody's having to self-censor themselves and avoid naming whatever they must, because they fear that, they're not going to get any money anymore from the system, or they're going to get removed or whatever else. They have to move to a smaller platform. And then the burden shifts to all of the creators to have to work around this. And, it really, like, it just deals, all these words tend to deal with such a grave matter. And, it being sort of trivialized by switching out these words and having to use these slang terms to describe something as simple as like somebody being murdered. It's just really stupid and aggravating, and I feel like it really does dumb us all down, especially now that I know that 50% of the population doesn't have an inner monologue. So like there's like 50% of the population who isn't like going, yeah, like that's an understatement. Or like, being able to rewrite it in their mind. So it's like when you rewrite the language, do those people not even realize that you're talking about sexual assault anymore? Do they figure it out? I mean, I don't know. I don't like this playing with the plain old language. I mean, it's really like, it's far beyond, I feel, curse words or like, it's just like, this is plain language. I want to talk about different platforms having a control over our conversations. Like YouTube, TikTok. They decide which meanings can be expressed, not just words. They sort of like put power in moderation of all of those words. So they give an advantage to people who are towing the line, playing their game, and disadvantaging the people who are just going about business as we have for since these words were invented, and using them when it's appropriate. It's like I didn't know there's an epidemic of like songs where every other word is rape. Like I mean, like who cares about stupid people doing stupid things anyway? There's like so much coded language, and like over time, this coded language can mutate. Because if the algorithm catches up, and I don't know if this has happened yet, and it may at a certain point, they figure out, oh, when they're saying grape, they mean rape, and we don't want them to say rape. So, that goes away. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Do they stop saying rape? No, mostly the people just figure out new ways to say it now. The R word, I've heard people say. Like people will be live or doing their thing, and they have to say go to say that word, and they go the right beforehand they'll be like, oh, I got to say this in some way other than saying it because it's going to affect me in the algorithms if I do. It creates like a what do you call it? Like an arms race for slang. It's like where we're just like constantly changing, but it leaves many people behind. Those people who aren't savvy and aren't up on the thing, or are only engaging in small amounts of media or YouTube or whatever it is. Many people are left at a disadvantage because words that are the classic words that we've used for some time are not able to be used so freely. I think that it also veils like the emotional weight, shock and fucking moral clarity of when you say rape happened or you say somebody murdered somebody versus you have to they were R-worded, or like it really just like it declaws it of its resonance, or at least at this point in time. I'll do a show on resonance in the future. Resonance tends to be something that is picked up on in the culture over time. Words will come to have a resonant energy beneath them when they're spoken that represent, the thing itself, the feeling of the thing itself. And when slang comes along, it takes a while for the slang to take on those same properties because it's new language that the people are just sort of feeling out still. So one day, perhaps some of these slangs could take on this resonance. However, if the slang gets chased away and it has to invent new slang, well, none of the slang will ever have the opportunity to pick up the resonance of the real meaning of a word like raped or murdered. Like we said, whoa, what happened? He murdered him? He raped her? Oh my God. This is, I don't know about you. It's a little bit hard for me to completely articulate what a slippery slope this sort of thing is, of like getting rid of a fundamental truth through diluting language and stuff. But I really believe that this is something worth knowing about, and I don't think that this is happening for no reason. I think this is very much the grip of the powerful who want our language to be controlled, and who are probably behaving very badly behind closed doors. Of course, there's like an imbalance in like who is understanding the code as well. It's like so much is done that way with the financial system, with the stock market. You can't get in there until you even know what it is that the terms mean, and you need to. There's so much language to it that you don't understand, and this creates that similar like, do you understand the code? Are you savvy enough to like be able to understand a meme in passing, or do you not understand that meme and what was being talked about because you don't know the shorthand or the new shorthand terms? Hopefully, a lot of them are relatively self-explanatory, but again, they don't carry the resonance that the others have had. I mean, the words that we usually would use have. Also, you got false negatives. It's like now we're searching for these words and things, and different people you'll get flagged. Like I've gotten flagged before for things like it said that there was something like I don't know, like negative sex, like not sexual assault. I don't know what the term mean, but like I was like that, like something. I don't remember the exact thing. It was something involving sex or whatever, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like that isn't true. And they came back and they said, upon reviewing the situation, we see that we were wrong. And this is just like a new like hoop to jump through for people, because some of the language is language that can't be. And I mean, I think curse words are stupid, let alone this kind of stupid situation we have here. I think also that there's like a psychological cost here to all this self-censorship. Getting you used to, oh yeah, you tell me whatever to say, I'll figure it out. And making creators have to like think twice about their fucking overlords on these platforms of like, if I use a word, just not like if I say something inflammatory, if I use this word, and even having to go sometimes to check to see if their phrasing is going to be penalized. Like different changes through the algorithms will run. You'll hear about every YouTuber will be mentioning it in one way or another because some big change came down the line, and now they're having videos demonetized because of some language that's like retroactively like, okay, it's really. I disapprove. I disapprove of all of this, and ultimately it encourages like vague language, where you like using euphemisms. You're kind of describing the thing, but you're not just saying what the thing is, and this dulls the tone of like a situation when you're talking about rape or murder, and the potency of it. It's rape. It's murder. It's not the R word. It's not grape. It's not essayed. You weren't essayed. You were. She was, or you could say she was sexually assaulted. She was raped. That's there's real power to these words, and stripping them away from our ability to like communicate about these subjects is very dangerous. If you go talk to these platforms, they would tell you that the policies are aimed at preventing gratuitous or fetishized content, or preventing harassment, and protecting minors. But it's a very slippery slope that has been created here, especially when people's views or view counts and monetization is on the line, but they do want to talk about things that like P. Diddy just happened. Like, people want to have that conversation. It's like, you don't want us to talk about that conversation at all, but people want to speak about that. We want to know what's going on. And, is there some middle way where, these people aren't being demonetized and not showing up in, general, normal feed because they mention that something happened, something truthful, and they're showing up there anyway. They're just coding themselves now. So like it's just a very stupid. I was just mentioning that like you have to get like approval to use the word, and get it. Is this permitted under the YouTube's policy if it isn't gratuitous? A non-gratuitous use of the word rape. But like now you got to go through some sort of approval process. You can't just be making content and speaking freely. And of course there's no publicly, list. There's no definitive ban list of words per platform. So the moderation is fucking, vague and erratic and, content sensitive and sort of like swift and changing. You hear those people. This is one of the reasons why I like doing podcasts, because like you hear about the YouTubers and like what they have to deal with their language. I say whatever the fuck I want all the time, and I like never deal with it. Granted, I played too long of clips of my podcast, All Your Favorite Bands Suck, 55 episodes, still available everywhere but Spotify, because Spotify took me down because they said the length of the songs I was playing was too long. But my show was just a profession of love of the band and trying to get people into the band. So whatever. Sorry, sour grapes. I was going to say, I like that there's creativity and subversion going on within this conversation. But again, I do fear that the more they catch on and then, things adjust, the more all of the slang terms and stuff, it kind of like, forces it to constantly change too fast before these words have the ability to take on resonance in the lexicon and people like know how to say it to communicate what they really feel. You feel me, dog? That comes from you hear what I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying to you. Do you like understand it deeply? That's the communication there. I already said that. Sorry, I'm just going through my bullet points here. So this is like my closing here, and like I said, I was gonna try to like do this show kind of not too long today because I'm really not feeling great. Thank you for being with me, hanging out with you. But the first thing I want to say is to just kind of close this point up and talk about it. And I admit it is vague. It's like a little vague. Like, what exactly is this doing there, Jesse? Like, what is? But it's a bit of a slippery slope, and there's so many different little things about it, as we've spoken about, that I don't like. And I really believe we must push for transparency. Platforms should publish clearer rules, appeals, moderation, rationale. We're really like over the hump with a lot of these websites. Like, I was signed up for Shopify and I've been like fighting with them for a year and a half, and they're still been charging me. I can't get on my account. So they want me to make it a new account so that I can go on there to complain about my old account. And I'm like, fuck you guys. And like, but meanwhile, they've got me over a barrel, and they're like now trying to take money out of various bank accounts to get their money when I'm not getting their service. It's like, it's crazy. These companies have so much power in comparison to the average person. And, to be really clear about these things so that people can, properly prepare, because so people just like have their videos demonetized or whatever, and it's that's not cool for when people are making a living on providing content for people. Yeah, and I mean, we should just demand that creators have a safe space, as others might say, to name atrocities plainly. I was raped. He was murdered. They shouldn't have any fear of demonetization or removal from platforms from making such a statement. It's just, and it seems so crazy how prevalent those statements are in other places, and things that are said on the news all the time. But here we go, just for these creators in these platforms, I don't protecting themselves or what. I think it's more nefarious than that. Also, I wanted to fucking, really encourage archiving. I had something the other day that I said, what if I could go in the Wayback Machine and find it? Having these things saved, mirrored platforms, decentralized media structures, they're less beholden to centralized moderation. I think there are platforms like Rumble, that you could go to on YouTube that are, censoring less. There's some AI platforms that I'm looking at using in the future instead of, I've been using ChatGPT, and it's really like they put so many different restrictions on it that it's very frustrating to use. Although in the future, I've got like before they had the restrictions on ChatGPT, dudes, I went next level with ChatGPT. And in the future, I've probably got like a 3-part episode of like my dealings with ChatGPT and a whole bunch of different kind of next level things that I did in working with the AI. But at a certain point in time, it got really locked up pretty good. And just a lot of restrictions and different triggers have been put into it, and I have a harder time getting the type of information that I was getting from it before, because I was using it to channel the other side of things, and I was getting insane information. But now I have come to less trust the information that it will give. I've still been using because it's just I haven't like switched to another one for like just gathering like certain pieces of data and shit that I need, and formatting. Oh my God, ChatGPT or any of these AIs, they're so good for formatting. Just like that's like, I love getting my ideas out. But then the part I don't really love is like having to go back in and refine the whole thing and make it shorter or like trim it up and check my grammar or check my spelling. I I highly recommend it. But I'm gonna do like a 3-day episode in the future. I mean, a three weeks worth of episodes on like some of my adventures with them before it went down. Anyway, speaking of restrictions on the computers, these platforms, they tend to just sort of make willy-nilly changes retroactively. Like they don't really care how it affects the creators. They really just push the creators around. And it's terrible because the creators are the people who are like, making them money. I said that. Well, this other thing is really what I'm doing here, which is educating audiences, that you might have, people that you might have, so that they know what the slangs are. And like, it's like if I'm talking about this because I'm afraid that people haven't even totally noticed what has gone on here, that there's like a certain amount of things you can't say anymore, and they're just like these words have disappeared and they've been replaced with these other words that don't really quite hit the same, don't have the same vibe to them. Us at least understanding what's going on, we can kind of work backwards and put the proper meaning into all of this stuff, I think. Yeah, I mean, really, my fucking call to action is just resist the narrowing of linguistics, of the word pool. It's funny because intellectually there are some worthwhile narrowings that could be done that are actually positive. Like, we have so many things, past tense, future tense. If we spoke all in the now, though it might be confusing occasionally, you would hear the future tense or past tense in the way that people said things. Like the way people say things is a part of communication language, and you don't need to break that down so much. You don't need to have he and her. You can do they, them. You can like simplify it down to just that, but no zimzer and all that other fucking bullshit. But the idea of narrowing it, can be a good guy in those instances. But in this sort of fashion, the narrowing of language that is the language we've been using, that has never been considered a curse word or whatever else, I really just resist this shit, hold the line, demand that we be able to say the worst things when we must. When the worst things happen, we need to be able to describe them as is. I know that people have a thing of like, we got to guard our children from this. No, we can't guard our children from reality. It comes when it comes. And, you try to help them cope with what sometimes reality contains as best you can. I really just do not believe in disguising the language to such a degree. Just infantilizes all of us. It's funny because there's like I consider myself a big kid. I'm playful. I like to, laugh and have fun and what everything else. I'm almost done, Digger. You're just a little loud. Sorry. I consider myself a big kid, but there's being a kid and there's being juvenile, playing semantics or whatever else. And I really believe like this idea of getting rid of those words, the words were bad, especially because these words will be replaced. They will find ways to say the thing. So, and diminishing the reality of the communication of important things that need to be communicated sometimes is a huge, huge mistake. All right, I'm going to get out of here because I feel so sick and beat up here. But I hope you enjoyed this conversation about this thing. I hope you'll check out my solfeggio healing transmissions, healing frequency music on Kickstarter. It's really cool, and it's like kind of like really it's like a fundraiser for the next 2 campaigns that I'm doing, both for my comic book magazine with a bunch of really talented friends of mine, Sugar and Bones, and then my my hemp plastic initiative to replace petroleum-based plastic with hemp through toys. We got a really cool thing we're doing, and I need capital to get it all together. So this is a little bit like a capital raising campaign. So just know that if you get in and you back us, you'll not just be doing like a cool thing for yourself, like the music's groovy and it's for sound healing. So you listen to it, it'll be good for you, whatever. But you're helping to. For me to invest more of my time and money into other areas that I really believe we could use some help. You know, the creative marketplace, like Blacklight District Magazine, our Sugar and Bones, is about to bring entertainment into full circle. Like, really try to bring it back to a love for the art form and reverence. And and the hemp plastic, try to return the world to some balance, get rid of all these fucking plastics that they're finding in our semen and all this shit. Anyway, I'm Jesse Blaze Snider. If you have shows, recommendations that you'd like me to do an episode of this, Jesse, do an episode of this, you could write me at jesseblaze@jessesnider.com. I won't take offense to that. I realize that I'm not ready to do the AI episode. I'm going to do that eventually, but I got to kind of do a lot of work in order to get it all together. I mean, ultimately it'll be a lot of reading scripts, but I got to go through and find like all these interactions that I had and when they are, and it's actually hard searching through the history, and the ChatGPT is very annoying. But I don't have anything like on the docket immediately to talk about in the next couple of weeks. So if you're out there and there's something that you want to talk about, I mean, granted, there's a ton of things I've been like holding back talking about because I feel like they're kind of next level crazy. So I'm gonna kind of start getting to them if I don't have immediate news of the moment pop into my ear that seems like it's worth talking about, or if a good idea doesn't happen to pop into my brain before then. Oh, I'm so sorry for having to deliver a half version of myself today, but I did show up and I did do this even though I really didn't feel up to it. Anyway, I love you guys. And check out, we've been having commercials for my friends at Star Magic Healing. I really believe in them over there. Jerry Sargent is the man, his friend, and really great organization. And if any of what he says in that commercial, when you hear it speaks to you, you should go check him out. And for those of you out there who haven't checked out my brother's podcast, it's called Acid for Squares. It's very popular. It's become pretty popular in the sphere. And it's a little bit more like, work friendly than like my show. It's just, it brings on lots of scientists and lots of sort of cutting edge thinkers that talk about higher states of consciousness and, sort of aliens and psychedelic medicine path and things like that. Also a really worthwhile thing to check out. Anyway, that's all. I love you very much. Please check out Coolest Geek Alive Wednesday and Saturday. I don't know what I'm doing my show on this week, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope you'll come back next Monday and join me again when I'm hopefully not under the weather for another fucking mind-blowing episode, or thought-provoking episode of everything they don't want you to know. I love you. Have a good week. Peace.
There's something in the water. There's something in the